I wanted to then ask, when you talk about, when you wrote this book, I'm going to tap into the aspect of a little bit of stigma. When you wrote this book, you protected some of your people you interviewed, specifically those who were living with HIV.
Mm.
Do you think that was a good thing? And why did you do that?
Protecting them, you mean not giving them the names that they had? Yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I tend to err on the side of caution.
Right.
And unless someone's an activist and actually wants to be known, I tend not to name anyone,
Right.
just because there's something about seeing your name in print that's a little bit shocking. So no matter what, even if it's flattering.
Hmm.
And I didn't want, and this is obviously a sensitive issue. So I was worried about that.
Right. I say that because I did that as well. And sometimes I carry this magazine everywhere. I was working for a magazine in 2005 in Botswana, and I wrote the story with these three women. I never forget them because of the impact they had on me at the time. But the question now is I can't remember them because I gave them pseudonyms.
Oh no.
I know. And now I'm like, I can never find these women ever again. I don't know who they are. I can't, like I wish.
Yeah.
But it made sense, of course, as you know, at the time, because of exactly what you're saying, that the stigma was just way too high to, and people sometimes don't comprehend the impact of your name on a publication the next day and the family and everybody else. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So when we look talking about stigma, what do you think about stigma in general and as it relates to HIV? What has been the impact of stigma? What is the influence of this phenomena?
Well, it's a it's a terrible thing in the sense that nobody deserves to have HIV. Um, but it was so often the people who um, cared the most about their sort of outward appearance of propriety and their, you know, social status and so on, who were affected by this, their responsibilities to others. I mean, that was kind of heartbreaking, especially who who were hit by this thing, sort of side blinded by it. And that made it incredibly difficult to talk about. And the only way to get people to, protect themselves, change their behavior, and to make their relationship safer, is to get them to talk about it and to recognize their risks and where they're coming from.
Right.
But it definitely silenced those conversations. And it
Yeah.
also silenced, I mean, it silenced everything. I mean, there's still a silence around these concurrent partnerships, even in the scientific community, even in the philanthropic community, even in the international relations community, the US government's AIDS programs and so on. Nobody talks about this. And I think part of that may be stigma, that it's very hard to talk about sexual behavior at all without seeming judgmental. And I don't see why it's such a big deal, because I've never judged people for their sexual behavior, and I don't necessarily believe that, Western norms of sexual behavior are the greatest.
Right.
Um, so I've never had an issue with talking about this with people.
Right.
But I know that there are many people who do hold very strong uh, beliefs, conscious or otherwise, that there are right ways to conduct yourself sexually and wrong ways to do it. And I guess I feel that as long as things are consensual and everybody's of age, then I don't think it really should make any difference. But that was, I suppose, a naive opinion.